guys, hope you're well. I have just fallen off the mast. Morning guys, hope you are well. We are in kind of a noisy Milford Haven, but lovely breakfast. Fixed the Wi-Fi router onto the mast, hopefully that'll hold. And we're busy doing jobs. Got some stuff going on inside. Got about an hour before we do our first crossing. We're trying to go from Milford Haven, bottom of Wales, all the way up to the Lind or Llyn Peninsula. Flying the motherland. I am 3/4 Welsh. We've got some decisions to make today about whether we gun it and try and still make some kilders, or whether we slow down, get better science, better audio drops, enjoy it more probably. Just got to make that call together. I'm ducking out of the wind. We met Dr. Steve Simpson yesterday. We had a really good morning with him, jumped in the water, showed us the gear. I'll show you some clips now. And now we've got to figure out how to actually do that and get this transect we've been talking about all the way up the Irish coast.
Done experiments so far where we found that if we play back healthy habitat recordings in degraded sites, we can call the next generation of fishing. So it's a bit like drawing new punters to a nightclub, right? Yeah. But the nightclub itself is the challenge because lots of reefs have completely degraded. So we're now finding that if we can call the corals in, we can rebuild the nightclub, we can build the party, and then everybody will start coming. Because ultimately you don't want to be calling fish to places where there's not the habitat that they need to survive. Yeah.
So you can produce sounds that call corals to change how they're sort of swimming, if you like, and then they settle basically.
Yeah, that's right. So if you take a cylinder and you get newly hatched larval corals, and you put them into a column and you hang it over either healthy coral reef or over degraded coral reef. Over degraded, they keep swimming up, and over the healthy corals, they stop and they sink down. But if we put the column horizontal and we have a speaker playing the healthy reef, they can actually move horizontally towards the sound, which is mind-blowing. Because it's mind-blowing because they don't have a mind. You know, they don't have a brain. They don't have a central nervous system, and yet they can still coordinate their swimming to move towards the sound.
Did you lot come up with that?
We were the first to find that corals could move towards sound.
Yeah.
But I can't really claim it because I said that the group I was working with were crazy to try it. I said, there's no way. Fish were responding to sound. I get that. They've got inner ears, a bit like we do. And so that makes sense. These tiny corals without a brain or central nervous system, I just thought, no chance. So sure enough, there they went. Whether it's a murmuration or a school of tuna or the hair cells on a coral, we're just getting to grips with
going.
This collective behaviour that you see. So two approaches that are now increasingly gaining traction are acoustic monitoring and eDNA. And with the acoustic monitoring, it gives us that window into the nocturnal communities, into the cryptic, the camouflage, the hidden, the in-fauna, stuff that lives in the seabed. So it's like a GoPro type housing, and inside it is an acoustic recorder. The microphone runs off 3 AA batteries, micro SD card in it, so you can remove that and download the data as and when you want. So there's an app that I can give to you to then set a chime, which sends it off recording.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Absolutely. 30 quid for the housing and about 70 quid for the hardware inside. People are putting these all over forests, savannas.
So we can listen to some live underwater sound.
So we're nearly at the bottom now. You can hear a little bit of tinkling sound, that's the chain.
Cod. That's just Audacity, which is free, isn't it?
Yeah. And on this,
sounds like a bass track to me.
Definitely. So if you're lucky, you might get
What? It's like a frog.
That's cool. Put them together, you get dance tracks.
Leave the recorder out overnight. It might be a place that I can bring my group back to, and then I'll let you know what we find.
Perfect.
I call the wind, wading through the sun streets. Tired and green and white by the water, flooding open light. I breathe, I feel, I see, and nothing else. Please, please don't let it fall too low.
We're about to have a big meeting to decide what the hell we're going to do for the rest of this trip. But to see the full discussion, you'll have to watch the film at the end. I've seen some odd behaviour on this trip, but You've just filled your mug with peanut butter.
I'm reducing in the washing.
To make it worthwhile, if we were there for the 17th, and then we'd have the night of the 18th and the 19th, and then we'd leave the 20th.
Yeah.
Quite a big gamble as well with weather. So if we plan on going to St Kilda and the weather isn't any good, then we may have just rushed for nothing, which would be a shame.
We're a week in and we're here, and we're talking about getting all the way up to here, which is massive.
If you zoom out and go to the end of the project and you think, like, what story did we tell? I think there's a moment in time now to accelerate the new frontier of the work that Steve Simpson's been doing. Open source, this kind of idea of amateur acoustic adventuring, where people could get that £100 piece of gear, go in an inflatable dinghy off whatever their nearest bay is, and our 10 quality recordings could become 100 or 1,000 within a year. People going off anywhere where they live around there, and that multiplying from it being something in a science department in a university to being something that people see as cool to do, could transform the data that we have about our most important natural asset. And to connect that up at COP and guarantee that feels the strongest to me.
If we look back and we did go to St Kilda, probably the memory of this would be we were like hammering these long journeys, we were knackered, we maybe made it to St Kilda, and then we had to rush back.
That's a sailing documentary right there. That's not what we're making.
We're
making a...
We had to connect the dots and make an impact at an important time.
Agreed.
I wouldn't mind doing, I think for the film as well, I know it's not ideal, but to get one night sailing.
It's the first one. Let's try it the first time, and then we can decide what we do next time. We might be like, never again.
Never again.
We're doing it again, aren't we?
Some of the rough offshore tidal streams.
Once we get around to the Isle of Man, there's merle beds there, which are a kind of algae that sequesters carbon into their shells. They're a really good carbon sink, which obviously is good for climate health and biodiversity as well.
Getting a data set from down here, all the way up here.
Bye-bye St Kilda's.
Yeah.
For now.
Are we all
Until we meet again. And that's it. We've decided we're not going to St Kilda's. It was the right idea to get us going. But you've also got to decide, ultimately, is it about what we can unlock and unleash, or is it about us getting somewhere specific? And I think we all want to prioritise what we might be able to help unleash in terms of, like, amateur acoustic adventures. Also, the thing that bores me about science is that the data sets are often so rich, so well detailed, so well handled over time, but actually this is just an unknown frontier. Steve really is a pioneer in the space, and we can help him to open it up a bit. I would love it if you guys were using inflatable kayaks, dropping little GoPro things, £150 kits into the water near where you live, and getting those samples to find out about the biodiversity, the carbon capture, the difference in the revival of land once we've done active management. I'm feeling super excited about this plan. I think we're on the right plan. I think we've got the alignment and agreement. Yeah, really chuffed to see what happens next.